Kristaps Porzingis is terrible. Hello everybody, welcome to Also Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already and drop a like on this video. Also check out this audio on audio platforms when it comes out. Of course, if you're here like as soon as this video is coming out, then you're probably here for the videos when they come out regardless, so no real need for the audio for you there. But if you're someone who watches these videos the next day, which is a good chunk of people, then if you'd prefer to listen to this on audio platforms, I would much appreciate it if you checked it out over there. Right now it's just on Spotify, but it'll be everywhere else eventually, so yeah. Enough self-promo though, let's talk about this game. Also, I do have to mention that I did not watch Hawks versus Knicks, and this is my second favorite playoff series, but I was out today, and I was exhausted when I got home, so I just took like a 4-hour nap. So I was not able to watch that game because I was like, I will literally fall asleep at like before the Mavericks Clippers game if I don't, so had to do it. So that game was sacrificed. I was not originally going to watch any of Nets versus Celtics, but then that was actually a close game. I got in about 2 minutes left in the third quarter, so the Celtics had already had a pretty decent lead, and I was more so just interested in whether or not the Nets would actually make a run and get the lead back. I will say just for that game, they did make a run and get into the game, but ultimately Jason Tatum, who had been going off that entire game, continued to be great and decided how that game's results went. Also, I have to say this, like, I'm not going to officially come to this conclusion really until the playoffs are done, but I will say every time I watch the Nets, I more and more start to feel like James Harden is the best player on that team, and you know, I'm going to wait till there's bigger moments. Kevin Durant clearly is not involving himself in the offense to the degree that he will be in other situations, so it's important that I hold off judgment. And also, we've only seen Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden all play together. I think it was 10 games in the regular season and now 3 in the playoffs. So you can give a little bit of the edge to like, hey, there's not enough of a sample size. I will just say every time I watch the Nets, James Harden seems to have more impact on how good that team plays than Kevin Durant. Anyways, I'm going to talk about mostly Clippers versus Mavericks because that's the game of the day that's probably going to be talked about more because the Knicks-Hawks game was kind of a blowout. Julius Randle had a poor game once again based on the box score. So that's something. I might make a video on him in the playoffs this far because it's a little bit concerning. I had my doubts about him in the playoffs. Did not think he would perform this terribly. But anyways, on to Clippers versus Mavericks. I didn't take any notes during this game. I just get more enjoyment out of games if I don't do that. So what's annoying about that is half of the time I forget shit that happens in the game, and then as soon as I upload the video, I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't mention that. Shit. So this game, it started off, and it looked like, you know, same old story. So the same thing we'd seen in the first 2 games. Luka starts off the game with like 11 points, 2 3-pointers. He hit a one-legged 3-pointer to start the game, and it's like, okay, he's toying with these guys again. He's just messing around. Like, he's just fucking with them and not respecting his team whatsoever. And another win. So the Clippers are done. I had tweeted out like, yeah, the Clippers are done because they look defeated, and we've seen this before from them where they don't have the mental fortitude to actually stand up against something that they need resilience for. And I was very much expecting the Clippers, after it was like a 15-point game 6 minutes into the game, to lay down and die. But they did not. And really that was spurred by Kawhi Leonard initially. He just went on like a run where he hit multiple shots in a row, a 3 at the top of the key, a couple of pull-ups, I think a floater. He clearly he did a baseline layup. I think he just like flipped a switch, and it was actually kind of dope because it reminded me of 2019 Kawhi. I feel like Kawhi has not had like a moment of just dominance ever since 2019. Even though he's played plenty of basketball, I have not watched Kawhi take over a game to that degree in that manner. I understand he had 33 in the first half of game 2, but I don't know how to explain it other than this just felt different. I don't even know if Kawhi finished with 33 points, but I'll tell you, being that the Clippers were down and he just took it upon himself to just shoot every possession and got them that difference. By the way, Kawhi had 36, so yeah, he didn't put up that many points, but he finishes 13 for 17, which just goes to show you it's more so that every shot he was taking was dropping, and in a very quick turn of events, the Clippers were right back on top of it. And after Kawhi had chilled out, then Paul George stepped into the spotlight. He had, the last time I looked at the box score, he has 29 after this game. The second half he didn't play as great, but in the first half, in the first 18 minutes, because I looked at the stats with like 4 minutes left in the second. I don't know what his stats were completely after the half, but he had 22 points in 18 minutes on 10 for 12 shooting and no free throws. And they were all not easy shots. A few pull-up mid-range shots, some threes right in his defender's eye, a couple of drives. He was locked in. And I tweeted like, wow, this is actually playoff P. I'm actually seeing playoff P right now. This is a playoff P we've been waiting for ever since he gave himself that stupid fucking nickname. Which, by the way, that's the punishment you get for giving yourself a nickname. Unless you're Kobe, because Kobe gave himself the Black Mamba nickname, but Paul George is not Kobe. So that was definitely interesting to see. Like, Paul George was just completely locked in. Kawhi Leonard was completely locked in. And that was after the first couple of minutes. It looked like they were just ready. The whole team was ready to just give up. They were like, all right, we're already down 0-2. Let's just phone it in, collect our paycheck, get home. Kawhi is going to leave us after a first-round exit, but who cares? That's what it felt like. But it did not happen as they got back into the game. And really, a lot of that run happened at the end of the first quarter when Luka was sitting. And on the Mavericks side of things, there was not much help to be had for Luka. He finishes with 44, 9, and 9 on 53% from the field, 54% from 3, and 53% from the line. Shot the same percentage. He hit as many... Okay. He shot as many free throws as he did threes, and he made more threes than he did free throws. Or he made the same amount of free throws as he did threes. That's a wild stat. I'm going to talk about his free throws later because that was something people were talking about on Twitter. But yeah, Luka, 44 points, 9 assists. He was carrying the offense plenty. But other than Maxi Kleber and Jalen Brunson, really not much contribution from anybody else. Tim Hardaway, who was fantastic in the first 2 games, shot was not dropping today. His threes were, but he was trying to create offense, and it was not really working. He finishes 4 for 14, and honestly, it felt even worse than that, which is saying a lot because that is terrible. Porzingis, 9 points, 3 for 10 from 3, 1 for 4 or 3 for 10 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, 2 for 2 from the line. I had a tweet that was, every time Porzingis takes a fadeaway over somebody a foot taller than me, I lose a week of my life. Now, the way Porzingis has played in this series, and especially in this game, I'm going to be dead within a month because, holy fuck. Like, look, I get it. He's not the strongest guy in the world. Just simply being tall is not all it takes to be good at posting up. But the dude is 6'2", 6'3". He had Reggie Jackson on him. He takes a fadeaway. He had Terrence Mann on him. He takes a fadeaway. It's just frustrating. It's like, dude, you are literally 7'3". At least kind of act like you're 7'3". Like, fucking hell, he might as well not be over 6 foot because he plays like he isn't. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, and to some extent, like, this is a criticism of Chris Bosh a while ago, where it was like, dude, you could be a lot better of a rebounder than you are for your height. And after a certain point, people just came to accept that, okay, that's not the type of player that he is. But this is different because Chris Bosh was a lot better than Kristaps Porzingis is right now, first of all. But also, this is not so much like, yeah, you could be better at this, but you're great at other shit. Porzingis defensively is okay. Can be a good shot blocker, but, not always the greatest. And pretty much everywhere else defensively, just fine. he had a couple of nice passes out to Jalen Brunson for three, but that's like the only extent to his playmaking in this game, and that's pretty much the best. Like this might have been the best Porzingis playmaking game in a while, which was nothing. So that's not which wasn't much. So that says a lot. Yeah, Porzingis just the amount of fadeaways. I'm lost for words. It's just frustrating. So in this game, it was really Luka carrying the show. The other two games, Luka was playing awesome, but so was everybody else except for Porzingis. Dorian Finney-Smith was making all of his shots. This game, he was not doing that. Maxi Kleber today was hitting his shots. The other day, he was hitting his shots. In game one, I think he was fine, so that was fine. But then Tim Hardaway, I think, was averaging 18 points in the first two games. Over 50% from three. So, he was getting contribution there. But not much help outside of himself in this one. He scores 44 of their 108 points. Let's talk about the late game here. Really, it was more of just the same of what had happened the whole game. I will say, I had an epiphany about midway through the first quarter, where once again, Isaiah Zubac. I'll just say Zubac. Ivica. I don't remember. I don't know why I thought his name was Isaiah. Zubac once again got switched onto Luka a couple of times, which is ridiculous that it happened as frequently as it has. But he was getting cooked every time, so they went small. I think the primary lineup was Batum at the 4 and Morris at the 5. Morris is a little bit stronger than Batum, so I think he was the one technically playing center. And I was like, wait a minute, they can run small. It's not like the Mavericks are going to punish them for it with Porzingis not acting like he's as tall as he is, so might as well run small. And they did that, and it was very effective in terms of guarding this team outside of Luka. Luka was still Luka, but and he wasn't able to take advantage of switches as much, even though this was the best game he's had so far individually. But it was definitely a much better defensive situation, and I have a feeling Zubac is going to play like 10 minutes a game for the rest of this series, and I think that adjustment is going to be a pretty big one. At least in that offense, when you're switching constantly, especially if you're not running too small. Reggie Jackson has become a bigger part of this team lately. He was 4 for 10 from 3 today, which is awesome. And he's not as big of a mismatch on Luka as Patrick Beverley is. Patrick Beverley, by the way, 5 minutes in this game. And his minutes were low to begin with, so that's interesting. It's making $15 million a year, and he is the third point guard in the rotation. Not great, but yeah, I think just going to that lineup is the solution in terms of just not letting Luka kill you on the switch every time, and that was definitely the move. But also, if Mavericks players outside of Luka, Kleber, and Brunson showed up today, then I think they would still win this game, but that did not happen. So I'm still confident the Mavericks win this series. That being said, the Clippers surprised me by the fact that they swung back. Like, I was not expecting this. I was expecting them to lay down and die. They did not do that. So credit to them for that. Like I said in my video on my main channel, which did extremely well, which I was very happy about because Clipper slander is just easy views. I was like, I have no reason to believe that the Clippers, who when they've had the advantage have blown it, are going to come back from a disadvantage. And I still stand by that, but they definitely looked more like a team capable of that today than they did before. Because on top of the fact that they won, obviously, what really impressed me the most, even if they lost this game, honestly, would be that they did not just lay down and die. And that was huge. So shout out to the Clippers for that. Shout out to Porzingis for not being great. I made a video back in 2017 when I was a 17-year-old, so give me a little bit of a pass, but still a stupid fucking take. Or I was like, I wouldn't be shocked if Porzingis ended up being a better all-time talent than Dirk Nowitzki. Saw how well that aged. Like, I might end up making a video on this, but Porzingis was genuinely like the guy in 2017. Like, everybody thought this guy's going to be Kevin Durant but taller. That didn't fucking work out. So At this point, Tim Hardaway Jr. was the best player that the Mavericks got out of that trade, and that's really fucking pathetic. A good thing Porzingis is injury prone and on a massive contract, so that's a benefit. But yeah, I've rambled on long enough. Again, check this out on audio platforms if you so choose. Yeah, that is it. Goodbye.